Picture this for a second. It's late at night, maybe, I don't know, 2 in the morning. You're standing in your kitchen in the dark or just staring up at the ceiling from your bed, and your body is just aching. You've literally spent the entire day or maybe your whole weekend helping a friend move or organizing a giant family event or taking on a coworker's project because they dropped the ball. Everyone calls you the good, reliable person, right? The one they can always count on. But standing there in the quiet of your kitchen, you don't feel good. You just feel completely, utterly drained, and honestly, a little resentful. Well, welcome to this explainer. If you happen to have seen the incredibly powerful book trailer for Jason Johnson's Detrimental Kindness, you already know it hints at this exact deeper struggle. So today, we're unpacking the source material behind that trailer, and honestly, it is going to completely change how you view your own generosity.
Okay, let's dive into this because think about it. No one actually wakes up in the morning, looks in the bathroom mirror and says, you know what? I'm going to completely abandon myself today. We just don't do that. Instead, we say things like, oh, I don't want to make things worse, or I'll just let it go this time, or it's really not that big of a deal. But as the author points out, being nice almost always starts with exactly this. A really quiet, kind of shocking, subconscious decision to just totally abandon your own needs, all to keep the peace. And hey, if that late-night kitchen scenario resonated with you even a little bit, consider this number, 76%. We are literally living through an epidemic of good people feeling absolutely terrible. 76% of people report feeling emotionally drained from just trying to meet everyone else's expectations. So to put that into perspective, your exhaustion, it isn't some unique personal failure. It is a staggering statistical reality that so many of us are trapped in. Which brings us to Section 1. The exhaustion of niceness. So the core issue here is that we've kind of fundamentally confused niceness with genuine kindness. Being nice is, more often than not, just a performance. It's an exhausting, heavily rehearsed show that's totally driven by the fear of disappointing other people. You end up developing this curated mask of pleasantness. You find yourself using phrases like, oh, whatever you think is best, before you even actually know what you think is best. It's acting. And it's driven not by love or generosity, but by an anxiety-fueled need to keep everyone else around you comfortable. Moving on to Section 2, defining detrimental kindness. Detrimental kindness is essentially kindness that becomes the price you pay to stay connected. It hurts the giver way more than it ever helps the receiver. So the absolute crucial takeaway here is that this specific type of giving isn't actually kind at all. It's fueled by fear, it's fueled by guilt, and this desperate, desperate need for approval. It's the yes that is screaming no on the inside. It's the polite smile that completely masks your exhaustion. And this brilliantly illustrates exactly what we're talking about. Look at this toxic dynamic. When you practice detrimental kindness, it's like there are lightning bolts of tension between you and the other person. You're literally giving away pieces of your own heart, leaving yourself fractured, secretly resentful, and tied up in this massive, heavy, tangled knot of other people's emotional baggage. It's a dynamic that looks super generous from the outside, sure, but on the inside, it feels like slow suffocation. Let's look at Section 3, the 3 faces of giving. Now I want you to ask yourself, which of these 3 psychological mirrors actually reflects your own behavior? First up, we have the Accommodator. Their core behavior is just endless flexibility, and it's driven by a secret, deep fear of being seen as difficult. They're basically human pretzels, bending over backwards for everyone. Next, we have the Rescuer. They're the ones who immediately jump in to solve everyone else's problems, mostly because they have this deep-seated fear of not being needed. And finally, the Peacekeeper. They'll do literally anything to avoid conflict because they're terrified of instability, even if it means totally swallowing their own voice. So, which face do you wear? And actually, more importantly, what secret fear is the real engine behind your generosity? And that leads us right into Section 4, the hidden costs. The physical toll of all this is basically a full-on rebellion in your body. Your nervous system is constantly treating random requests like life or death emergencies, and that leads to chronic fatigue, poor sleep, unexplained anxiety. Your body is literally keeping score. Second is what's called the resentment paradox. You offer help freely, right? But you secretly resent the people taking it because you've inadvertently taught them that your needs are entirely negotiable. Third, you're actually creating dependency in others. By becoming a perpetual rescuer, the people around you stop learning how to solve their own problems. And finally, the most tragic cost of the whole shebang, identity erosion. You become so incredibly good at being whatever everyone else needs that you literally forget what you actually think, want, and feel. So how do we fix this? Section 5, recognize, release, reclaim. Now, what's really interesting about this slide is how it maps out the path from total depletion back to authentic presence. It unfolds in 3 really distinct phases. First up, recognize. You have to start identifying your specific trigger response loops and actually start listening to your body's physical warning signals. Second, release. You have to get in there and excavate those old, deeply buried beliefs. Things like, my worth depends entirely on my usefulness, and just let go of the toxic guilt that keeps you trapped in that cycle. And third, reclaim. You establish clear boundaries and finally align your actions with your actual truth. And I want you to notice this right here. This is not about becoming selfish, not at all. It is simply about becoming honest.
Which brings us to our final part, Section 6, Embodying Conscious Kindness. Let's look at the difference here. Performed niceness, it's utterly exhausting. It breeds all this secret resentment, it's rooted entirely in fear, and it's totally scripted. You're just playing a character in someone else's play. But authentic kindness? Now that is sustainable. It's incredibly honest, it's based on genuine love, and it's spontaneous. True conscious kindness flows from a place of fullness, not a place of emptiness. And honestly, most importantly, it finally includes you, the giver, in the equation. So if you've recognized yourself in this explainer today, I really need you to hear this. You are not weak. Your past exhaustion, your chronic people-pleasing, your burnout, none of that is a character flaw. It's actually just a sign that you are a highly empathetic person whose nervous system accidentally got stuck in a survival loop. You're not weak, and you're certainly not broken. You just need a new strategy. So I'll leave you with this provocative question to consider right now, today. When you say yes to something, are you accommodating because it genuinely serves the situation, or simply because you're afraid of conflict? Take a hard look in the mirror on that one. If the Detrimental Kindness book trailer caught your attention and you're feeling desperate to reclaim your authentic self, I cannot highly recommend enough diving straight into Jason Johnson's full source material. Because guys, it is time to stop paying the price of connection with pieces of yourself.